Hey everybody, Jason here. Today we're going to talk about Ghostbusters. So here in front of me I actually have just a few little collectibles that I managed to pick up. So these are like vinyl idols, and they're of, Spengler, Venkman, and Stantz, main characters from the movies. I kind of wish that they actually had a Winston, but at least, I have these three. So basically Ghostbusters has been around since 1984. It's definitely one of my favorite movies, and caused me to really, fall in love with the characters, and I really like the actors too. So obviously, Spengler was played by Harold Ramis, Venkman was played by Bill Murray, and Stantz was played by Dan Aykroyd. Murray and Aykroyd, they appeared a lot in early episodes of Saturday Night Live, and then basically started doing a lot of movies and everything from there. But really, these three were a great trio. I was about to say pair. But anyway, so really what we're talking about is, of course, there is a new Ghostbusters movie coming out soon, played by a female cast, coming out later on this year. And I am curious about it. I will say that I am a little bit skeptical, but not based on like the female cast, but just because I've watched this movie so many times that it's the lore and history of it's basically ingrained in my mind. But I will see it, as I am super curious. But anyway, so let's just talk about a few of the the cool collectibles that I have based on the actual franchise. So one of the first ones that I have here is actually a VHS copy of Ghostbusters. So this one is, I think it's actually the original VHS release that they did. I don't know. I mean, either way, I know that I picked it up somewhere for my father a very long time ago, and I'm actually just really happy to have it. I mean, it's clear that it's seen better days. Even it looks like the tape's been broken and it's had to been repaired a couple times. But definitely a cool little piece of history right there. I don't have many VHS tapes. I don't even have a way to play them. But I actually kind of like having that. So, of course, naturally being able to want to watch it all the time, I picked up the Ghostbusters 1 and 2 Collector's Edition. I think this came out just a little bit after it would have turned 20 in 2005, because, yeah, so that was 21 years. But I like these ones because I liked the green case, is how it looked like slime, and I liked the hand-drawn type DVD art that they did. It also came packaged in with a little movie scrapbook with little bits and pieces about the actual movie, and I want to say some storyboards and everything like that. And I love stuff like this. It's definitely really cool, and I like being able to dig into a little bit more of the lore of Ghostbusters itself. Alright, so after that one, obviously Blu-ray came around, and they were able to release Ghostbusters on Blu-ray, but for whatever reason they chose just to release the first one on its own. The second one came a little bit later, but obviously the first one gets the love, mainly because, this is the classic. This is the one that started everything. And the second one gets, what I want to say is, a bad rap. I like the first one better than I like the second one, but the second one was good just because it really wasn't that bad. I think that it was just a general media opinion that it was just crappy, and a lot of people that grew up with it, they grew up hearing this for almost 30 years, that the movies are terrible, or that movie is terrible. But upon watching it again, it's not as great, but I love the fact that they expanded the cast. I liked the way that they introduced bigger relationships between Venkman and Dana, and then also I do definitely like that they had Janine and Tully sort of be a little bit of a thing. But anyway, so after that, obviously 30 years has passed, well, 32 almost, but they decided to re-release them in a Nashville Double Set this time, remastered in 4K, so definitely one of the highest quality releases that they've done. And again, it just comes with a little note from Ivan Reitman, a code which I think that I will actually give away. I'm probably going to post that on Twitter and Instagram as just a little bit of a giveaway contest, and see if I can just give somebody a digital copy of the movies. So, of course, as with the scrapbook, this is just going to be a basic outlining of, history of events that happened in the actual movies, and just the lead up to how they actually got put together and everything like that, with some cool art and bios on each of the characters. Alright, so there's that. Alright, so, of course, I mean, I have more Ghostbusters stuff, and I've already talked about a couple of them in a previous video, but, you know, there's that LEGO Dimensions game, which, you know, LEGO covers a whole bunch of different types of actual series and products, so naturally they, you know, they acquired licensing to use some of the Ghostbusters stuff, so, you know, of course, there's your Gozer, or Demon of Gozer, or whatever. And then you got your Slime Shooter, or Hellhound, that's what that was. Slimer, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, awesome. And then they also came out with another level pack, which I didn't show in a video of its own, but it's basically like a Spook Central Ghost Adventure. And that came with Peter Venkman, looking scared, about to get slimed. And it came with a Ghost Trap weapon. And also it came with probably the most disappointing Lego Ecto1 that I've ever seen. I mean, it's cute, but and if you look at it from this and sort of cover up that end, maybe it's a full car, but no, it only has 2 wheels. I mean, I like the fact that it actually has like a Ghostbusters logo on it, and it's definitely an interesting design. I mean, I'm sure that they had a basic premise that when it came to building these figures, they needed to take up only a certain amount of space. Because, you know, he was going to be sitting on the actual video game portal with other characters, and they didn't want it to actually, like, knock another one off and everything like that. So, probably not quite as the same, but they actually did another release for Ghostbusters, and this one followed the LEGO Ideas series, which has since changed its name, but they did another release of the Ecto1, and I'm going to show that to you now. But first off, I mean, it did also come with all 4 of the characters. I like how they took the time to sculpt different hairs for each of the characters, and their faces, they are the double-sided faces, so you can have different expressions on them, whether they're, you know, scared or acting fairly calm and collected like Venkman always did, even though he was probably more scared than any of them. His confidence sort of let him get the better of the situation. But yeah, I liked also how they have little initials on each of their jumpsuits just to show who's who. And you got Winston here with the Ghost Trap, walkie-talkie, and then on the back you can see the proton packs, which, you know, I was actually really impressed with the proton packs. There's like at least 8 pieces, even more, in each of the proton packs. And I like how they actually designed the little bubble piece to show some of the electronic workings of it. Definitely a very loving recreation of those characters in Lego form. Alright, and these came out also around the time of the 30th anniversary, which was actually shortly around the time where Harold Ramis passed away. Very sad. Definitely a funny actor and a good writer of comedies as well. I mean, he's also appeared in like other like bit parts, like I think, was it Orange State? But definitely a very good actor, and I'll certainly miss him. But anyway, so we've got the actual Ecto1. So whoever designed this did a fantastic job. I mean, just the level of detail that they put into it. I mean, everything from the grill and the bumper to, like, even having an Ecto1 license plate, which is fantastically not a sticker. I love it when they do the actual printed pieces. You even have windshield wipers, because, you know, what car would be good without any windshield wipers? But yeah, they did a fantastic job with this. I like the ability to get like the actual fins from that old hearse that they were using, and again, you know, a nice bumper with the real license plate. And on top you have all of their gear and equipment that they had. I almost wish that they were flashing lights, like even if they use those light kits that you sort of push a little button on and they sort of like blink back and forth for a couple seconds from like the 80s and 90s, that would have been fantastic. But honestly, I really cannot complain. Another cool feature is that you can actually remove the top and see inside. And you can actually put, I want to say you can put at least 2 or 3 of the characters inside, maybe 4, and the proton packs in the back as well. But I had a lot of fun building this, and it's definitely one of the coolest ones. The LEGO Ideas kits, if you hadn't heard of them, are basically kits that were designed by other people and submitted to LEGO. They basically had a rule where you share your idea, you gather support, they review it, and then if it got enough support, I think it's like 10,000 votes or something like that, Lego would review it, and then they'd actually make the product as an actual release. So it made it, and I do like the fact that they actually gave it the yellow and black striped tape, like the Ghostbusters trap looks, and I like how they gave Spengler's line, Spengler, like a little speech bubble, like who are you going to call, sort of calling him out on the 30th anniversary, even after he had just passed away. The nicest thing about the LEGO Ideas kits, and I've talked about this when I did another LEGO build just recently with the Architecture series, is these fantastically done instruction booklets, because typically when you see an instruction booklet for a LEGO kit, I mean, what you're getting is just like a nice paper stapled Lego sheet, and with those Ecto1 and the Ghost Trap, I actually had to go to the internet to build them, because if you look here, like, it gives you the instructions to build the proton pack, but it tells you to go to the game for everything else, and for whatever reason, these pictures, they only show one side, and so I couldn't see what was on the opposite side, and if I hadn't have looked it up, then I probably never would have been able to finish it. I was able to muddle my way through with like the Hellhound and the slime tank, which I think I even got pieces on this one wrong because I couldn't see the other side. But no, I definitely appreciate instruction booklets like this. They're very well done, made with nice art, and they actually go into detail about the actual build, and then they actually have a description of the movie and everything like that, and they actually cover multiple languages, which I'm realizing I did it in order. But yeah, so these are definitely nice, and they always come with little facts. Like this one says, somebody blows their nose and you want to keep it, which is one of those nice lines from Venkman when Spengler is asking him to collect a sample of the ectoplasmic ooze that they found throughout the library. But anyway, so there's that. So what do you guys think about the Ghostbusters? Are you a fan of it? Did you grow up watching the movies a lot like I did? I mean, what was your first experience with it? I mean, there's Ghostbusters 1, there's Ghostbusters 2. There was even that cartoon in the 90s. It's like the real Ghostbusters, and I think there was even another one. Cool thing is, I mean, Ghostbusters is still pretty relevant. I mean, I see toys on the shelf today, but I think more so just because the new movie's coming out. But one thing I've always wished for is I want to be able to have one of their jumpsuits. I want to have my own name, sewn on the patch there, and I want to have a ghost trap, and I want to have a proton pack. But I think that's just, as big a fan as I am, that's definitely anybody would be in the same position if they felt the same way. I mean, there was also, I shouldn't forget, there was also, here, let me go grab. Okay, there was also Ghostbusters video game, which, I mean, if you've listened to other reviews and videos, it actually was really quite good. This one came out on the 360, and I want to say PS3, and there was a dumbed down release on the Wii, but basically the gist of it is that this happened after the events of Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and what this ended up being is basically a third movie. It used writing skills of Harold Ramis and Aykroyd, and it brought all of the cast back, even Peck and stuff like that as one of their protagonists, or antagonists rather. But it was great. Like, it was a lot of fun to play through, and it's like, I honestly wish that if they'd ever made a sequel to the original two Ghostbuster movies, that this would be the story that they would tell. Everything sort of comes together, and they use references to the first and second movies to sort of bring everything into like a one cohesive story, and I don't know, it was really quite good, and I quite enjoyed that. Anyway, let me know what you think about Ghostbusters in the comments down below. Do you want to go see the new movie? I mean, even if it's just out of curiosity. I really don't think that the movie should be getting the hate that it's getting. I don't know why people have to go on about, the fact that it's a female cast and they're, taking away from the work that these guys did. I think that it should have a different name. I think another YouTuber had mentioned that using just Ghostbusters, it does piggyback on the fact that there was a Ghostbusters, and now it's got the same name, and so it hasn't earned anything. It's going to get views and watches by people that see it, and now you're going to see Ghostbusters 1984 and Ghostbusters 2016, and it almost feels like there's no need to watch the originals anymore. But I don't know. I think it's just people are really big fans of the series, and I think that they're just letting other people's opinions and feelings get the better of them, and not just focusing on the fact that it's a movie in its own right, and you shouldn't really judge it until you actually see it, which I will do, and then I'll make my choice after that. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye! Business Pikachu recommends that if you like this video, you click the like button, and if you want to see more updates on when new videos come out, click the subscribe button. Let me know down below what you think of the video, too. Otherwise, I think Pikachu might have some ideas about what his quote-unquote dragon cohorts might do to you.